Why is a piece of paper in your wallet worth more today than it might be next year, or worth completely different amounts depending on which country you step into? Think about it. That bill has no intrinsic value. It is not made of gold, you cannot eat it, and you cannot build a shelter out of it. Yet, the entire world revolves around its fluctuating value. Today, we are cracking open the massive, interconnected machine of global finance to understand exactly how currency value changes. At its absolute core, currency value changes because of a concept you probably hear about all the time, but might not see the hidden gears behind: supply and demand. Just like tickets to a massive concert or a rare pair of sneakers, if everyone wants a specific currency, its value goes up. If nobody wants it, or if there is way too much of it floating around, its value plummets. But while sneakers are driven by fashion trends, currencies are driven by entire nations, central banks, and global investors. Let's start with the first major gear in this machine: interest rates. This is arguably the most powerful tool a country's central bank has. Imagine you are a massive global investor with billions of dollars. You want to park your money somewhere safe, where it will grow. If the central bank of country A raises its interest rates to 5%, while country B keeps theirs at 1%, where are you going to put your money? Obviously, you choose country A. You want that higher return. But to invest in country A, you can't just use your own money. You have to buy country A's currency first. When thousands of global investors all rush to buy country A's currency at the same time to chase those high interest rates, the demand for that currency skyrockets. And as demand skyrockets, the value of that currency goes up. This is why every time the Federal Reserve in the United States or the European Central Bank hints at raising or lowering interest rates, the global markets throw a fit. Investors are trying to predict where the money will flow next. Now, let's look at the second major gear, which acts like a shadow to interest rates: inflation. Inflation is the rate at which the general level of prices for goods and services is rising, and, subsequently, purchasing power is falling. Think of it as a slow leak in a tire. If a country has very high inflation, it means the prices of its groceries, gas, and housing are shooting up rapidly. Because things cost more, that country's currency can buy less than it did yesterday. Its purchasing power is eroding. Foreign investors look at a country with high inflation and think, if I hold my money in that currency, it's going to lose value just by sitting there. So, they sell that currency and buy a more stable one. The supply of the inflating currency goes up on the global market because everyone is trying to get rid of it, while demand drops. The result? The currency drops in value. This brings us to a crucial realization. Currency value is entirely relative. A currency is only strong or weak compared to another currency. When you look at a currency chart and see the US dollar going up, it is usually going up against the euro, the Japanese yen, or the British pound. It's a non-stop, global tug of war. This brings us to our third major gear: the balance of trade. This is the relationship between a country's imports and its exports. Let's say a country exports a massive amount of goods like high-tech electronics, cars, and agricultural products to the rest of the world. Foreign buyers who want to purchase those cars and electronics have to pay for them in the exporting country's local currency. This means money from all over the globe is constantly being converted into that specific currency just to pay for those goods. That creates massive, consistent demand, pushing the currency's value up. On the flip side, if a country imports way more than it exports, it is constantly buying foreign goods. To do that, it has to sell its own currency to buy the foreign currency needed for payment. This floods the global market with its own currency, increasing supply while demand remains low, which pushes its currency value down. Beyond trade and math, there is a psychological gear that moves billions of dollars every single second: political stability and economic performance. Money is cowardly. It hates risk. It runs away from uncertainty. If a country is experiencing political turmoil, protests, unstable leadership, or sudden shifts in government policy, investors panic. They worry that the government might default on its debts, rewrite tax laws, or that the economy might crash. To protect their wealth, they pull their money out of that country entirely. They sell off their local assets, sell the local currency, and move their capital to what we call safe haven currencies. Safe haven currencies are currencies from countries with long histories of stable governments, strong economies, and predictable legal systems like the US dollar, the Swiss franc, or the Japanese yen. When global chaos hits, whether it's a pandemic, a war, or a financial crisis, everyone rushes to these safe havens, driving their values up significantly even if their own internal economies are struggling. Now, how does all of this get managed? It depends on the country's currency regime. There are two primary types: floating exchange rates and fixed exchange rates. Most major economies use a floating exchange rate. This means the value of the currency is determined purely by the open market, by all the supply and demand factors we just talked about, changing second by second on global trading floors. But some countries use a fixed or pegged exchange rate. This is when a government decides to lock the value of its currency directly to another major currency, like the US dollar. For example, the United Arab Emirates pegs their dirham to the US dollar. No matter what happens in the markets, the ratio stays exactly the same. To maintain this, their central bank has to constantly buy and sell its own currency or foreign reserves to artificially manipulate supply and demand and keep the price perfectly locked. Why does all of this matter to you? Because even if you never leave your hometown, currency fluctuations dictate your daily life. If your country's currency weakens, suddenly everything your country imports from abroad, from the oil that fuels your car to the microchips in your smartphone, becomes more expensive to buy. This forces companies to raise their prices, which triggers domestic inflation, hitting your wallet directly. On the other hand, a weaker currency makes your country's exports cheaper for foreigners, which can boost local manufacturing and tourism because foreign visitors can buy more with their money. If your currency gets too strong, your country's products become too expensive for the rest of the world to buy, which can hurt factories, reduce exports, and slow down economic growth. It is a delicate, continuous balancing act that never stops, handled by mathematical algorithms, political decisions, and human emotion. Every time a government prints more money, every time an oil shipment leaves a port, and every time an investor clicks sell, a ripple goes through the global web, shifting the exact value of the paper inside your pocket. Understanding this system gives you the ultimate clarity on how the global economy truly breathes and shifts. Which specific factor do you think has the biggest impact on your own country's currency right now? Is it inflation, interest rates, or political stability? Tell us down in the comments below. Smash that subscribe button for more deep financial breakdowns, and we will see you in the very next video.